Hello, it's Jacqueline with Creative Paper Crafting with Jackie, and I'm just trying to position this so you can see that this image, it's Annabell and Aggie, and it's by Sheepski Designs, and this is the web link, and I'll put that up again so that you can see it. I hope everybody's having a good day, and I know it's a little bit earlier than I normally do it, but I wanted to try to get my friends that are in the UK to be able to join in. I am just trying to bring on my I'll turn down my sound. There we go. I want to be able to see my comments. All right, so we'll get started, and I hope everybody's having a great Friday. This is my last day off. Well, I guess I have Saturday and Sunday off, but my last day of winter break from the university that I teach at, so I'm a little sad. I really enjoyed my days off. Okay, so I just love this image, and I just have a piece of paper here for our new people. Have a piece of paper here because sometimes these images get stolen, and so until you start coloring, it's a good idea to keep them covered. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm going to get started. And so I am just using, there's not a lot of face showing here, so I'm just using E00, and I'm just going to go over this lightly. When you have a more face showing, then generally you might want to use like E00 and the 00 and E11 and E04 so that you can shade, but there's not a lot of face showing, so I'm just using two colors. So this is my E11. So you just kind of, each image, it just kind of depends how much face is showing and how much shadow you want. So I'm just kind of going in, and I hope my head is not in the camera. So just kind of coming down, just where I think it would be, have a little bit more shading. Just kind of working it through. Let's see. Oh, hi Sharon. How are you? It's kind of funny. I can't see any. I can only see. I see 8 people are on. I see 9 people are on, but I only see one name. Maybe you have to type something for me to see that you're here. So if anybody is on, if you just say hello, then we know that you're on. And if you have any questions, I'll try to answer it. Sometimes I get a little focused and I'm not paying as much attention to my messages that go across as I should. Alright, so right here we have a little bit of skin. So I'm just putting a little bit of my dark. Then I'm going in with my E00 and going in a little lighter. Then I'm going to go back with my E00, my E11 rather. Just like so. Alright, and then right here, she has skin showing. So I'm just going in and going ahead. See, she's got some skin showing. She's got these, the jeans that are so popular right now. So there we go. So there's her skin. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of put that up there like that and do her trousers. So... and for that, I'm using B16, B12, and B00. And I will put these on my blog later on, not like, it'll be later. I'll put it on later on and put a link on my page, and then you can always see the colors that I'm using in case you want to use the same colors. The way I picked out my colors today was, this is the paper I'm using. And so I wanted to kind of go with these pretty colors, like this orangey color and the creamy color and this blue. So that is how I picked my colors, if you're wondering. And you should always probably pick your paper first, but I'll be honest, I don't always pick my paper first. Sometimes I have some colors in my head that I want to use, and then I have to go through and pick my paper. So it's probably not the best practice. You should probably pick your paper first always. But I don't always. Sometimes I just know that I want certain colors, and I will go in and use those the markers, and then I'm scrambling trying to find my paper. So anyway, it's been so nice being off with my break. That is, I'm the head of my little department. I'm a one-person show, so naturally I'm the head. And I've had to do some work, but I've been able to do quite a bit of it from home, which is kind of nice. But we're officially back to work B16 on Monday, which I kind of, you know, starting to dread, but it'll be okay. So I did my light, and then I did medium, and now I'm doing my darker color. And because these are pants and kind of jeans, I'm going ahead and pulling this dark up further than I might normally do it, so that I can give it a more faded look. I'm doing in here where her pockets are at, and part of her little waistband, her waistband. And I'll go back and forth with these colors to try to get the look that I'm wanting. So now I'm just going in with the mid-tone, trying to pull that up a bit. Then I'll go in with the lighter color. So I'm just kind of pushing the color down a little bit. I don't think I ever really color an image the same way twice. Hi Victoria, hi Fatima. Let's see who else is on. Cher, hello. And Robin Justice. Ooh, I love that last name, Justice. That's kind of cool. See, if you were a judge, it'd be a perfect last name, wouldn't it? So this is my B00. And really, it would be nice to have it a little bit. I have this, the B12 and the B16. It would be nice to have one in between, but I only buy so many markers a month, and I don't have one that's in between. So what I'll show you what I do in a moment to kind of make a lighter color. So I just take my lighter one, and I just kind of marry them together like that. And then that picks up some ink, and then I make sort of a lighter color that way. And so if you don't have all your markers, the entire set, that's a good way to kind of make them, you know, like stretch what you have. And so I just marry it together, and then I can just kind of make my own color. I think that it's a, you know, a good solution until I can get more. I try to buy about maybe 3 or 4 of these a month, because they are expensive. You don't want to just randomly spend your money. You know, you want to be careful when you buy things. You should make sure you like something before you buy it. So I would always suggest just buy a few. Maybe buy a color blend family and decide if you like them or not. And these are refillable, so it's you don't need to throw them out. You can refill them, which is really economical and good for landfills. But I like to space out my purchases a little bit. One day, in a few years, maybe I'll have all of them. We'll see. I'm not too worried about it. My students, one time, and some of you have already heard this story, we had like an icebreaker type activity, and it was, what would you do if you suddenly had an extra $100? And all my students were like, well, you can't do anything with $100, and that's nothing, and you know, they're making a big deal about it not being very much money. And they asked me what I would do, and I said, well, I'd go out and buy some Copic markers. And at the end of the semester, my students had that were from Japan. Hi, Andrea. My students that were from Japan, they had their parents send over Copic markers, a set of Copic markers for me. And that is how I got my first set, which was really wonderful, I thought, of them. All right, so I'm going to take this off now because I've got enough of it colored in, I think. So I'm using my warm grays, my W4, W2, and W0 on the shoes. And I don't know why, because it's not really a pretty color, but I love these warm grays. It's like one of my favorite colors. I often use them on hats. I don't know, I just love it. So I'm going to go in with my medium. Anyway, so that my students bought me those markers. I was so thrilled. I was so shocked. I really felt like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't take them. And they told me that, you know, in Japan, they're so much cheaper. And they wanted me to have them. My students from Japan, when they leave, they generally give me a gift, which is awfully nice of them. I don't expect one. It's just, it's a custom. And they often give me something really, they know I like art, and so they often give me things that have to do with art. Another, one of my students gave me, when they left, gel pens, which I thought was awfully sweet. So I'm just going back in with my colors. The shoes is kind of a small space. I usually do two covers when I do something, sometimes even 3. And then when you get done, the paper absorbs ink, so sometimes I go back in again and I do another like little layer. All right, so let's go in and do her shirt. And I wanted to do her shirt in kind of an orangey color because, like I said, I'm trying to accentuate the paper a little bit. And so I'm using Y21, YR21, YR14, and then the YR02 for her sweater. I'm just going to go in. I'm just, I printed her up at, I think this was 3 inches. Because they're digital stamps, you can print them any size you want. So I think I did 3. And when you do the height, it automatically adjusts the width. And so you can play with it and print them up really any size that you want. Just what I do sometimes is I look at my dies, like I lay out my dies, and I try to print so that they'll fit inside whatever die it is I'm wanting to use. So you just kind of play with them and see what you want. And then if you want them bigger, you know, that's something to do. Yes, Fatima, I think well, honestly, I mean, my students, international students often have so much respect for well, first off, they pay a lot of money to come to the States. So they're students that really want to be here. And they're so grateful. They're so nice and kind. So really, it's a great population of students to work with. Sometimes I do have some that are not, you know, as respectful as they should be. But, you know, they're kids. I never hold it. They're young adults. I never hold it against them. I always tell my students, a new day. The next day is a new day. We start over. We don't hold grudges. We start over. And plus, learning English, you know, it's can be very frustrating. So sometimes students have little meltdowns because they're frustrated. It's not really that they're upset with me. Sometimes they are upset with me, but it's not really always. Not always the case. I get pretty close with my students, so which is okay because I teach international students and I'm with them all day long. But normally, you know, it's kind of discouraged to get too close to your students. I used to teach in the prison system, and you know, it's really difficult because you don't want to be manipulated. You don't want to be manipulated, and sometimes the prisoners will manipulate you. It was hard to be a teacher in the prison system because you know, just by nature you want to be nurturing, and you have to kind of be a little more careful when you are teaching in that environment. But I loved Santas when I was at the prison. I used to love Santa images, and so some of my prisoners would draw Santas for me and give them to me to put up on the classroom walls, because you couldn't take things home with you. You know, that's considered trafficking. But anyway, just, you know, it's hard not to be a nurturer when you are a teacher, is my point. Okay, I'm just trying to go back in and give a little bit more shading on this. I don't want to give, you know, too much. sometimes what I do is I go back again because I don't want to oversaturate the paper. Let it dry a little bit and then go back in. I'm just going to go ahead and do her little hair tie right down here. And I'm just going over the one corner more than the other, so that way it's a little darker. And then I'm going to go ahead and do up here the ribbon to her hat. And I'm doing this the same color as her shirt. And then I'm going to do the hat the same color as her pants. So I'm just kind of going back and forth with these colors. So it's just the Y02, the YR14, and the Y21. Let me see. Yes, Fatima worked in a school system. So she knows how it is with teachers, students and teachers. You do become attached. You do become attached. Okay, I'm just trying to go in here lightly. And I'll go back in my little darker color. I'm just working back and forth. I think when you get your second coat, it makes things look a little bit better. And there's different ways to color. Everybody colors differently. I do not really like hard lines. Some people, they prefer hard lines. Everybody's different, and there's no right or wrong. I say this all the time. There's no right or wrong. There's no marker police. There's different styles. And you just do what you like. What you feel is the way when you look at it, that you get the effect that you're trying to achieve. So you just do it the way you like. Don't let people make you feel like you have to do it a certain way. And some people do dark to light, light to dark. I kind of do a combination. So this is the B00, and I'm just going back and forth. I kind of do a combination depending on what I'm working on, whether I go light first or dark first. I typically go light first, then do my medium, and then do my dark. But sometimes I do it the other way around. It just kind of depends what I'm working on. And you do what works for you. The main thing is just to enjoy what you're doing. Ooh, I got some creaky floors going on upstairs. I hope that that's not disruptive to you guys. My 19-year-old is watching my 19-month-old. So that I could do my live. I'm just kind of going back and forth, trying to do my hat. And these colors are almost the same. Okay, I'm going to go with my lighter and pull this. And I'm taking both ends off because these are, pressurized, and sometimes you get big globs, and I've had that happen, especially with this particular marker. I have a couple of markers that tend to have that great big glob. So I'm just kind of pulling that through. Kind of get my tip. And I'm going to go in with my darker color here. Like underneath where that strap is. And then just right over in here. Kind of go back over in here. And over here. There we go. And Facebook is acting so, difficult. Getting a lot of blurry screens. I'm looking at some other ways to do my lives so that maybe I can bypass, like post on Facebook, but bypass it. I had it working, and then they changed with the last update with Facebook. They changed it, and I wouldn't let me post anymore with it. So gotta figure something else out. All right, so that is the colors right here. And so see, it kind of, not exactly, but pretty good. And now I am going to do her hair, and she does have a long braid, so it's a little bit more difficult. Hi Dawn, how are you? Your image needs to make you happier, please. That's right, Fatima. It really does. It certainly does. I love that name, Victoria. I have a student that is from China, and of course they take American names, and she goes by Victoria. I laugh because they pay a company to give them names, and I said, oh my goodness, I could be making a fortune. I could be naming people. I told them, don't do that. Pick your own name, or actually just use your own name, period. Don't even, you don't have to use a different name. So I'm trying to go in where the hair is coming together, and then over here, like sort of like a little bit of an L, like a hook, to get the dark. That's what I'm trying to do. And this is a smaller, so I went with my dark first, but normally when I do hair, I do light, medium, dark, light, medium, dark. But with this smaller space, I'm doing it backwards. So that's why I said, just when you work with your markers, figure out what works for you and work on that. You know, go for that style of coloring. And then I'm just going to kind of flick a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to go back again with my dark a little bit. Just kind of very, oh, sorry. The dogs are barking. I'd say one of my son's friends have come over. He's a good alarm system. Then I'm going to go back in here just a little bit. I'm a little heavy-handed, so I kind of have to be a little bit careful. Then I'm going to do the fringe from her hair, and I'm doing it in the medium. There we go. I'm doing a little bit more underneath where her hat would be, kind of shading it a little bit more. I'm coming down. There we go. So that way we have both highlights and lowlights going in our hair. Okay. So our image is coming along. Yep. Let's see if I'm just checking my... Just checking, when is small, do you use only two? Yeah, sometimes, Fatima, I only use two colors, and sometimes actually I only use one, and when I do one, what I'll do is I'll like color it, and then I'll, like say I was going to do this side, I'll do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll layer it. And then maybe in the middle, 1, 2, 3, so that way I have a darker, medium, and low tone. So that is how I do sometimes when I'm trying to, when I only want to use one color because I have a small space. Okay, so I'm using, for my sheep over here, E43, E40, and E42. And when I was a kid, and I lived in Germany for 6 years, we had a field, lots and lots of sheep. We had a herder, and he had, you know, his sheep dogs, and I used to watch them for hours. Used to love them, love watching. The herder never would crack a smile. He probably thought, stupid Americans, I wish they'd go home. We were on an army base, so, you know, sometimes we're invading other people's countryside a little bit with these army bases, I think. My best memories, though, are of living there, to be perfectly honest. And so that's my E42, and now I'm going to go on my E43. Do a little bit more. Just a little more. Yeah, I loved my time in Germany. So when I saw this image, I thought, oh, I've got to do this image because I just love the little girl petting the sheep. It's so sweet. So that's why I picked this image. Because we were very fortunate we got to pick the image that we wanted to do. So that's why I picked this one. I just thought, oh, I loved it. So sweet. I think Fatima said she liked images like this too. Yes, I am doing an image tonight during my normal time. 7 o'clock is my normal time to do a live on. So I am doing one, and I am going to watercolor tonight. And I am going to do a Spellbinders stamp. But anyway, but this is Sheepski Designs, which I absolutely love, and so happy to be on. This is my first design project, and I'm so happy to be on the design team. Absolutely thrilled, because all the images are just so cute. I'm just kind of going in and dotting just a little bit, not a lot. Then I'm going to go back over with my lighter color and kind of pull that through just a little bit. Try not to move my image because I don't want to get out of frame. I'm just going to pull that through just a little bit. Go back in again, just a little bit. There we go. And then I am going to take a one of my darker colors right here, and just do his little, or her, I guess it's her because it's Aggie. Do the nose a little bit. And then kind of go back over. There we go. Just a little bit back over the nose or mouth again. Then I'm going to go back in just a little bit more, just very lightly. And you can go over your images as many times as you want. You don't have to just do them twice. A lot of times when I get done with my lives, I go back over my images and look at them, go back over them again, and put a little bit more shading. And I often use my pencils to shade with. So those are things you can do if you want to accentuate a little bit more. You don't have to just use your markers. You can bring out your pencils and use them too. I often use my Prismacolors when I'm doing an image. I'm just kind of trying to go in and give it a little bit more depth to them. But with, like I said, I don't really like these heavy lines, so I try to blend them out just a little bit. So there we go. Just kind of blend it out. There we go. Pretty happy with that. Okay, so now I am going to go ahead and do the fence. And so I'm going to use E53, which is raw silk. And I'm going to just make sure I'm still in frame. There's a lag, so I might have to move my paper. Might be out of frame for just a moment. Yeah, okay, nope, it's fine. Yeah, there's about a 2-minute lag on this. Hello, Julie. Oh, thank you, Sharon, for posting the link. I really appreciate that. I'm using the same colors, basically, that I used in her hair for the fence. And I just kind of do a little bit of flicking, and then layer my flicking a little bit to try to make it look like it's wood grained. But I don't want to get it too close to the hair, because it would blend in with the hair too much. So then I go back with my lighter one, just kind of go over it a little bit more. Sorry, kind of concentrating there. Then I take my darker one, just do a little bit, just with the tip, just kind of. Just kind of, oh, went blurry there for a minute, sorry. I think when I kind of shake the table, makes it go blurry. Then back again. The more layers you put on, the more it kind of brings out the color. There we go. All right. Now we're going to do all the flowers. I'm going to just put some of that away. And I'm going to go ahead and do the flowers in kind of a variety of colors. Let me put the blues away. Okay, so I'm going to take I'm going to put the grays away too. Get them out of the way. I'm going to take my E53 and E11. So I'm starting with my E53. Now this is a small space, so I'm just using like 2 colors on each. Well, I guess I am using 3 because I'm going to go back and do the center. But I'm just doing darker, see, darker. Then I'm going to go in and do lighter. And I'm going to push it towards, see, instead of pulling out, push it towards, so that way I don't blend out my darker. There we go. And I'm going to go back in. Oh, missed this one. So see, I'm pushing it towards. And I'm going to go back to my darker. Kind of go back in again. Like that. There we go. And I'm going to do kind of a little variety on the flowers. So I'm doing the centers. Trying to pull in all the colors that I've used. That's what I'm trying to do here. Okay, so now I am going to do a little bit with the flowers. And this is BV13. And just do a little bit in here. That way we have kind of a, I think they're wildflowers. So you have different, and this is the BV00. So you're going to have different colors. Now this one I am kind of blending because I have such a dark color with a light color. So there we go. And then I'm going to go back in with my YR21 and just kind of do the center like that. And then I'm going to go in with my blue, my B16. Oh, I've got one more flower to do up here. So I'm just going in where there's these little flowers, just sort of dotting them. We have a lot of wildflowers in my yard. I think they're so pretty during the summer, all the different colors. So I'm just trying to kind of dot in the blue. And again, I just was sort of matching my paper to the, my markers to my paper. Trying to get all the colors as a complement. And I think I'm going to go in here and do this one in the purpley color to kind of intermix them a little bit. Like this. There we go. This image, you could just do it in all sorts of colors. You could do it really, you could do it in pretty pinks and reds for Valentine's, and you could do it in Christmas colors for Christmas. I mean, I think you could do all sorts of things. All right, so now we're going to do the grass, which I think the grass is a little harder for me. So I'm first doing it in my G000. Let me see. Yes, I love wildflowers. Actually, I love, like when I went to England, I loved the very pretty manicured lawns, but I love all the wild gardens too. And England has the prettiest gardens. But I love wild. I took a course one time on gardens that art and music actually followed the styles of gardens. That in different eras, it was gardens that changed, and then art, painting, and music followed. It was very interesting. Sorry, I'm a little bit quieter because I'm trying to do the grass, and I'm trying to shade. So I'm doing the darker color at the bottom, and I'm gonna, sorry, my voice is a little crackly. Try to pull that out a little bit. So that's what I'm doing. And so this is G99. I think I kind of forgot to tell you. G99, and then I'm gonna go with the YG03. And just kind of pull it through. There we go. kind of pull it through. Now the grass, I don't necessarily go over it 2 and 3 times. I kind of just want it to be wispy. I'm going to try to pull the darker color out, but just sort of wanting it to be wispy. And then you could always, see, I'm just kind of going in, just kind of do a little bit more. So you kind of have a little bit of grass, have some blades going, and then maybe just kind of a little bit darker underneath her feet. Just kind of, there you go. Just something like that. Now we're going to be adventuresome, which is not always a good thing that I do this, but I thought we would do a cloud background, and I don't want to mess up my typed up sheet. Now this is Sheepski Designs, and you can purchase Annabelle and Aggie from Sheepski Designs on the Etsy site, and they have so many adorable stamps. All right, so I just took a piece of paper. This is just a piece of paper, and I just cut it with my scissors, and that is how I do my clouds. I don't go out and buy a fancy stencil or anything. I mean, you can, but I just use a scrap piece of paper for mine. And then this is oh my goodness. Ah. Now we have it a little bit on the edge. We'll work with that. That's okay. This is soft sky. Okay. Accidents happen. Just try to blend that in. Thank goodness it didn't get anywhere else. All right, so what I do is I just put this down and kind of decide where do I want it. And I actually start on the paper. See, I just kind of start on the paper and just kind of flick up like that. Like, see there, like that. And just kind of pull it out. I just want a little bit of a sky. I'm not really trying to get real dark, but you can do it darker. See, and then I pull it down, and you don't want it to look exactly the same. So I have this other end, and just kind of start on the paper, pull it out a little bit, just kind of like so. And then bring it down, and see, now we're getting skies, getting clouds, not skies, getting clouds. And just kind of work it. Then I'm going to flip it around a little bit, I think, maybe. And this is just cardstock, and that is all that is. It's just cardstock. Then I'm going to just kind of go down a little bit lighter. And this is, I'm just kind of experimenting. I thought a little bit of a cloud background. I'm trying to be a little careful in there. You know, would make that a little lighter there. And just kind of like this, like that. I just thought that would be kind of, you know, accentuate the picture a little bit. A little bit off the sides. Okay. So see, that's, now I did get, you know, I dropped my ink, so made a little boo-boo there, but maybe we can put the sentiment. So that is, gave me kind of a cloud background. Perhaps you want to, a little bit in here. See, yeah, I think it needed it. There we go. So that is my background. I feel like she's in a metal, and so that just kind of went together. Okay, so now we're gonna assemble our card, and I've already pre-cut my pieces. So you gotta decide, is your card gonna open like this or like that? I think often I do mine like this. So everybody's different. So I already pre-cut, and this is a 5.5 by 5.5. And so this layer is 5.5 by 5.5. And this is art glitter glue. It's my favorite. It doesn't take too much. And then I just put it down like this. Try to, actually when I am by myself, I stand up. But art glitter glue gives you enough time you can move your paper around, okay, so that you can line it up. I'm off just a little bit, so I'm going to redo it. I think I might stand up, so I'm going to redo it. I was able to pull it off because I was off just a little bit. I'm going to stand up and do this just a little bit so I can center it better. There we go. There we go. Okay. So then I have, and I wanted, I want this, see this purpley color to kind of show. So that's why I have my paper this direction instead of like this direction, or I wanted that to show. I had actually already cut this out and it didn't have the lilac color on it showing in the right spot. And so I wasn't happy with it, so I recut it out because I wanted just a little bit showing. There we go. What I do sometimes is I put a piece of paper over the top and then I can do like that. Okay, so now I'm going to put this paper down. See, I kind of like it, the motion to go up. So I'm going to flip it like this. I'm wondering if the baby's asleep because it's awfully quiet upstairs. There we go. And see, I want it to be matted, so that's why I'm doing that. And then I have the little girl, and I'm going to go ahead and matte this. And I do have that little bit of ink that where I dropped my ink pad. If I were going to send this card to somebody, I would probably cut that off. Or I'd hate to recolor the whole thing, but I might. So I'm just kind of assembling just so that we can place it. And I typed up kind words are free. And I just typed that up on my printer and printed it on the same paper. So I do want, see, I wanted some of this purple to show. That was, oh, see, we can, I was going to put this on this side, but I could cover it up like that. But I do have some butterflies that I was going to use. So maybe I'll do it like that. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. All right, so let's assemble. See if we can pretty much get it back in the same position. Yes, you know what, Fatima? I actually thought of you when I did that sentiment, because it is the year of kindness, which is a wonderful thing. I think that we should be kinder to each other. Everybody, I don't care who you are, has some sort of struggle in your life. So it's nice to be kind to each other. And we don't know what other people are going through. Sometimes the people that have the most perfect life actually have the most imperfect life, and we just don't realize it. They're just good at covering. So it's nice to be kind. And sometimes just a kind deed means everything in the world to somebody. You just never know when that could turn a person around. And, well, I don't want to get into sad stuff. You just never know, so it's nice to be kind, always. So I did think of Fatima when I typed that up. So this is just adhesive that I purchased at the dollar store for $1. See, I go through so much of it. So it's just super mounting tape. And sometimes you can get it and it's a solid strip, which I like better. And then other times it's in these little cubes. And when I see it, I just buy it all up when I go, because they will only have like 5 or 6 rolls. So I buy it up because I go through it so much with making cards. Yeah, you know, there is other adhesive that's super duper great, but you know, why spend a ton? And then what I do is I take just a little bit of glue, and I've said this before, I know, broken record, but I have been to my friends' offices, and after about a year, some of the cards were falling apart, and you don't want that. So I'm going to put this one like this, and then I'm going to take this sentiment and kind of cover that up. And so what I do, see, it's kind of laying flat, but then it's going to be popped up too. So I take little round ones like this, and I put it, see, on the corner up here. I put it on the corner, so that way this one, see, it's going to be kind of half and half. So, and then I take my glue, and so it's going to be down here like this. There we go. And maybe I should have came down a little bit, I don't know. Now, I have this one. I thought what I could do, we could leave it, I have more. We could leave it this color, or I have these. I'm not using my good markers because you don't want to ruin your nibs. These are these, oh hoo, and you know, they don't blend very well. I bought them, they don't blend very well, so now I just use them when I'm doing things like this. So I'm just taking my butterfly, and I'm just coloring over it, and if we don't like it, we don't have to use it. So I did it this color to kind of complement. So here's another one. If we don't like it, I can pull out other ones. I'll let you kind of decide. I'll place these on here and then you decide. I'm just coloring over it. But I would never use my Copics or my Spectrum Noirs because I wouldn't want to mess up my nibs. There we go. So, do you want to use like this color, or do you want me to use, I'll let you guys decide, like that color. So do you want me to do the yellowy color, or do you want the purpley color? So whoever's the first person looks vintage gold. So you want me to do the gold, this color? First person, that was Fatima. So we'll go with this. And I know people say use 3. All of these are pretty big. They're not real tiny. So I don't know if I could get, you know, I don't know if I can get 3 on there or not. See, 2 fits pretty well. Oh, I know what I was going to do. I was going to add some little gems. So if I put 2 on, kind of like 1 there. New people are probably thinking, what are you doing? We often converse when we do our lives and kind of decide together when we do these little extra things. So there's 1. I don't know if 1's enough. Oh, you liked the purple. Gail liked the purple. Ah, everybody said purple. I thought, Fatima, I thought that you said, well, you know what? This glue is very forgiving, so we'll just put the purple on. So here we go. Easy breezy, no mistakes, so easy to fix it. Okay, so we got purple. So I don't know if we should put another one on or not. Now my little gems that I was going to use. See, I was going to use these kind of sparkly ones. I was going to put 3 here, or I could put cream. So sparkly or cream. So first person that responds, oh, better. Okay, purple it is. Hi, Heidi. How are you? So how about you want to do the cream. I was going to do the small, the cream or the sparkly. So first person, sparkle. Okay. I'm kind of surprised you said sparkle, but alrighty. So I'm going to put 3 of these on, just like so. And then one more. There we go. Alright. That kind of bugs me because I don't have them spaced evenly. I'll probably take that off and redo it. See, a little bit more of a gap here than there. Okay. Oh, Andrea said sparkle too. See, that bugs me that it's off. So let me bring that up. Okay. So there we go. We have kind words are free, and we kind of hid the little ink glitch I got going there. And you can always go back in now. Like I would touch up her. See, I think that she needs just a little bit more, like right in here. I kind of feel like paper, once it dries, it absorbs the ink just a little bit. And so sometimes going back in and shading a little bit is okay. You know, after the ink dries, sometimes you need a little bit more. All right. So there's the completed card, all ready to send to somebody. Now, if you're passive aggressive, see, you could send it to someone that's been unkind, but being passive aggressive is mean, so we wouldn't want to do that. So you could send it to somebody, you know, just, I like to send cards out of the blue to people when they're not expecting them, not for like a special occasion. I just like to send them. So you could make a card and then just send it. But there we go. So thank you for watching. And this is from Sheepski Designs, and it was my first DT project, and I'm so over the moon to be on the DT team. And I love it. This was Annabell and Aggie, which I just think is adorable. And I could see doing this in lots and lots of different colors. So thank you for joining me, and I hope that you join me again. And I will post this on my blog with all the colors that I used. So have a good Friday. Bye-bye.